Hello everyone. In this video I want to discuss a little bit my PowerHack G5, which started out in life as a dual 2.0 GHz PowerMac G5, and it's now got an i7-4960X with a mild overclock on it. It's quite a different machine. So this is not a tutorial video, and this is going to probably end up being a lot of me rambling on about random things. But I hope that you'll enjoy taking a look at this because I have put quite a bit of time and some amount of money into getting this thing looking in a way that I like. So one of the main things that I wanted to keep with this build was the overall design. So if we look around the front, it looks pretty much the same. However, we'll notice that if we look a little closer, there is a blue USB up there. So I've swapped out the USB 2.0 that used to be on the front for a USB 3.0. There is an optical drive in there. I've managed to keep that. And around the back, well, there is only just so much that we can do to keep the original look. But I did opt for the dual fan configuration so that I could keep at least that part of the look. So back here, we're using a kit from the Laser Hive, which is a great resource for converting old Power Macs and even some Mac Pros into a PC. This backplate and the mounting bracket that's inside and a couple other things for the motherboard. I think it ended up costing me about 65 bucks, which was a little more than I intended to initially. Let me try that again. A little more than I initially intended to spend on this project, but the kits are really nice quality and it's really, really helpful to have everything measured out. So that's what I went with. The power supply, you can see I got the power socket there. The power supply was one of my proudest achievements. The original power supply that came with this PowerMac G5 was dead, so I ripped out all the internals and replaced it with an EVGA Supernova 750 watt power supply, which unfortunately I won't really be able to show you. However, it's I'm going to toot my own horn here. I did a really good job at it, if I'm honest, and I'm really proud of it. However, I can't really take it out and show you it because, well, it's buried by everything else. But to summarize the power supply for you, ripped out the original one and managed to mount the replacement power supply. It had about, I think it was 2 millimeters of clearance between the top of the actual power supply housing and one of the VRM coolers, not VRM coolers. I don't know my power supplies, but yeah, it was a very tight fit, but everything managed to fit in there just perfectly, and I was able to, for example, keep the excess amount of power supply cable coiled up in the front here. So yeah, looks really good. You got to trust me on that one. But let's sit back and take a look at what this thing looks like. So I really hate how graphics cards sag. I need to find a better solution for that, but I think you'll say this looks a bit different than the original G5 internals. Now, part of what I wanted to keep with this G5 Hackintosh build, it's not even a Hackintosh, whatever you'd like to call it, is the look of it. So I've kept most elements of the original G5 and I put them back into place. For example, even though I've got a full-size, is it an eATX board or an ATX board? I don't know. It's a I think it's an eATX board. I've forgotten by now. I still managed to fit this optical drive in by actually notching out the corner of it. Now I know that's not proper, but hey, it works and it's not going to make contact with the board, so there we go. I've kept this fan in here to cool the SSDs, which definitely do not require cooling, but I've done it anyway. For the SSDs, I know they look like they're piled in there right now because they are, but I've actually got a 3D printed mount so I can stack all of them and make them look a little bit better. So that is on its way, but I haven't quite finished that yet. I've kept the original fan up here. The speaker is not hooked up. It's just there to look pretty. I've kept the little support there for graphics cards. So I think I'm going to actually make a mount that connects to my 1070 here and goes into slot 2 to keep that looking a little better. The shelf is here. It has been notched out so that it fits around the board, but I've kept that. The dual fans, I have replaced the fans, but the fans in this plastic shroud are still there. And the original 2 fans for the exhaust are still present as well. So one of my regrets with this build is that I didn't go with a single 120 mil output fan on the back. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I wanted to keep this looking as original as possible, which is why I went with the 2 fans in the back. You can see I've had to improvise a little bit with my cooling system. So this is a pretty thick radiator, but I've just set it in front of the fans, and it works just fine, but I would have liked to be able to mount it rigidly to the back of the case, make it look a little bit better, but it is what it is, and it works, and that's what matters. I was going to air cool the system. However, as I think I mentioned, I've got an i7 4960X with a somewhat mild overclock on it, and air cooling that is really not the best idea. Really not. So liquid cooling is kind of essential for this build, so that's why I've had to go with the radiator and mount it where it is mounted. In here I've got 64 gigs of RAM, so that's 8 sticks of 8, and the only gripe that I have that's somewhat related to the RAM is the placement of that very last stick. So I tried to keep this fan shroud in here because I wanted to, and it's just barely touching that stick of RAM. If I were to notch out a small piece of plastic, this would probably slide back all the way, as it's not, you can kind of see right there, it's not quite all the way back in, but it fits and the side panel closes, so that was really my main concern. Let's look at the GPU bay up here. So I've got a 1070 superclock from EVGA. It's a great graphics card, nothing wrong with it, but you can see I've got another one up here. What is this? Well, this is going to get us a little bit off topic here, but I'm using it because it has 2 DVI-D outputs. So my monitors that you might be able to see behind here, they're older Alienware monitors, and they can do 120 Hertz, but they only do that 120 Hertz over DVI-D. They can't accept anything else. And I've spent about $110 in various cables to try to get the monitors to work over, for example, DisplayPort to DVI-D at 120 Hertz. But so far, absolutely nothing has worked. So I managed to find that GPU, which has 2 DVI ports on it. It's a GT710. And even though, I don't run games on the side ones, I just want them to run at 120 Hertz. So I've got the 2 side monitors hooked up to the 710, and my main one hooked up to the 1070. And everything works at 120 Hertz, very fluid, looks really nice. So that's what that is, just in case you were curious about that. And yeah, it works really well, and it stays really, really cool, which is part of the reason why I was even inspired, if you could say that, to make this build in the first place. I wanted it to stay as cool as possible, and I really like the design of the G5, where it's got the open front, a pretty open back, and it's got these cooling channels in it. So this cools the CPU, and the RAM. This cools the GPUs, and this cools the what used to be a hard drive. So yeah, it works really well. Now, one thing I did have to do with this build was actually buy fan control software, which is something I've never done before. And I did that because I wanted to have some more granular control over what fans did what. So there's an Asus utility. This, by the way, is an Asus, Asus? Oh my gosh, what is it? It's an X79 Deluxe. I think it's an Asus board. Yeah, it definitely is. Their fan control software that they provide for this thing is not the greatest. And because I want to say, for example, fan 3 should ramp up when the GPU temperature gets to this, you can't do that with the stock software. So I downloaded and purchased something called Argus Monitor, and it is an amazing piece of software for fan control and temperature monitoring. Absolutely wonderful. So I've configured it so if the SSD temps, which never really happens, gets to a certain temperature, this fan ramps up accordingly. This fan will ramp up when either of these reach a certain temperature, and it keeps it under, I think 75 degrees is the maximum I've configured it to go up to. The GPU itself will start to ramp up its fans all the way, I think at 80% or 80 degrees Celsius. And the CPU temperature, when it gets to a certain point, both the rear exhaust fans and the front ones will ramp up to allow more airflow. So it works really well, and I'm so pleased with this. This has been quite the project, getting everything in here. I know it doesn't look like very much, but I promise you, getting everything put in here the way I wanted it to, and maintaining all of these original elements, such as the fan configuration and the kind of channeled design for airflow, was quite difficult. Also important to mention, I'm using an mATX kit. So that's a kit that's designed for smaller motherboards. And this is a large motherboard. It goes from all the way down there, all the way to the very top. And I had to do I had to be a little bit creative to get all these things put in place. So this drive caddy area, I've actually hacked off the back inch of it in order to make it fit in there. Otherwise, it would just bump up against the motherboard. And that's fine for SSDs because they're short. So it all kind of worked. And as I said before, I did notch out a corner. You can kind of see the rough edge there of the optical drive so that it fits around the motherboard. And of course, it all works perfectly. So yeah, there is, I'll give you another look at the back here. There's my PowerHack G5. And I think, again, it sounds like a humble brag, and maybe it kind of is, but I think I did a really good job on it. There are a couple things I would change. For example, if I could get this stupid shroud to fit around that one stick of RAM without notching it, that would be lovely. But that doesn't seem like it's really going to happen, so yeah, it is what it is. As I said, I would have gone with a different back plate for this so that I could mount a single 120mm fan / radiator on the back. That would have been nice to have. And you know what? I think that's really about it. Everything else went pretty much as planned. I should show you this. So this is the front panel I/O, and I managed to figure out how to, I couldn't honestly tell you what I did, but I'm using the original cable for connecting the front panel power button, power LED. That was a little bit tricky, but I've taken that original cable, and somewhere back here I've spliced it, and you can see it goes up to some standard multicolored little cables. So I've got both of those working, but the USB 3 was a little bit of a different story. there isn't, or I guess I should say, I couldn't figure out a good way to reuse the existing, PCB to include a USB 3 port. So that's a little weird focus. So what I ended up doing was ripping that USB 2 port off, carefully of course, so that I could still use the PCB for the power button. And I took, I don't know where I got it, just some random USB 3 front panel connector from something else, and I chopped it off a little bit, and I hot glued it in place, if I'm honest. But you know what? You don't see it except for this black chunk at the back. You don't see the hot glue, so you don't know I did that. And I think I hid it pretty well. And I also hid a bunch of cables. I can't really take that out. It's in place right now. It is removable, but I don't want to disconnect and have to reconnect things later. So yeah, there it is. There's the PowerHack G5. It's a really, really, really great machine. And I really love the G5 case style, which was one of the main reasons why I did this build in the first place. So lock it up. And there we are. So hope you enjoyed this little tour of my PowerHack G5. Put a lot of time and effort into it and really wanted to show it off to somebody who might appreciate it. So there you have it. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to put them below. And we'll see you whenever the next video happens to be.